All right, so I want to think through something. I think I got thought about the cross, and I thought about torture. It is definitely I mean, if you're being hung from the cross, you're being tortured, and it's not unusual back in the old days for torture to happen. And so for some reason, Judas informed the army about Jesus being a magician. It was sad, very sad. But what I think happened was that Jesus was a bisexual. Back in those days, man, that was instant death. You know, you can't do that. And, the Romans did, though, in the armies, so maybe it's okay. The Greeks did. I mean, they all had their little boyfriends. So, I don't know. Maybe it's not homosexuality. What would it be? Maybe God's jealous of Jesus and his life. Like, Jesus has a pretty good life, hanging out with all the disciples, drinking wine, turning water. I mean, so Jesus had magical powers, okay? Where did he get those magical powers? Probably got it from his mother. So God was his father, but Joseph was his stepfather. And so God holds grudges. He does. You can read the Bible. He's not okay with some things. And God's judgmental, but Jesus is not. So therein you have a conflict of interest. So maybe God wanted Jesus to be more judgmental like him because he's the son, and the father always wants the son, like Rousseau Emily wants the son to be just like the father. So maybe Jesus felt entrapped, and he couldn't do that because maybe he was a nicer person. Maybe he's like, these people just suffer. Just try to feed them a little bit of bread, give them a little wine. And so God was always not all about that. God's more about the weather, like tornadoes, like he's pissed off and he sends a hurricane from the universe with all the other gods too. They all get together and decide on the weather of the day. They play tiddlywinks, and whoever wins gets to choose the weather of the day. Zeus, he can be quite temperamental. But God, I don't know, he's just so undefined. Except for his actions that he does that persecute people and send them to hell, which I think is the center of the earth because it is a hot spot there. But then if you read Dickens, hell is cold. So there's another contradiction. But and then I go to Socrates, who I believe had some beliefs that the Christians may have borrowed, or Horus from the Egyptians, the baby Moses and all that. It is a lot of fun stories, but who's to say what God thinks? I don't know. He apparently thought, if you read the Bible, that his son should be tortured and killed. Sounds like he's jealous. Or maybe he liked Mary Magdalene. Or I don't know. Maybe him and Zeus were having a fight over Hera. That could have happened too. Maybe it wasn't the God in the Bible. Maybe it was Zeus that killed Jesus because of Hera. Maybe Hera liked Jesus. I don't know. Could be. Why am I contemplating this? Just for fun. Just to think about it. Because to me, it's kind of like, well, pray for me. And I'm like, to who? What if I just send you good energy? I'm more able to do that. I don't know what prayer does. It just seems so solemn and like morose in a way. Oh, he's dying. I'm going to pray. No, just do something kind for people. Do something positive and kind. They pray all the time, but we still don't have a homeless shelter in Petersburg. And I think of all, if you follow Jesus, Buddha, and then what about the prostitutes in India that are children? Oh my God, we better just stop and not go there. Okay. To me, I just think each person kind of has to, as they get older, open their eyes, and to have a good, fulfilled life, they have to step in and do where they can. That's why I believe in democracy. I think you need to know how to govern yourself first before you start picking political leaders that you don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, I don't watch much politics, but it just doesn't add up. There's a lot of logic that's just not happening.